Hailey Bieber went from being the girl everyone made fun of to the it girl everyone wants to be. And going from chasing Justin Bieber and falling in front of the paparazzi to having his first child while he gets your entire face tattooed on his back is quite the transformation. But it wasn't just that, it was the fact that she managed to level the playing field, becoming more famous and richer than the Baldwin family name she came from, while also separating herself from her famous Jenner besties, who the paparazzi used to practically run Hailey over to get past her and in front of Kylie. Then add on the fact that your husband's extremely famous and beloved ex-girlfriend had the entire world siding with her even years into your marriage, and somehow you still came out on top. The internet went from dragging Hailey daily to publicly apologizing to her, while simultaneously trying to recreate everything she does, whether it's eating sushi with a face mask on, the glazed nails, or just her overall style. So what exactly is the formula that brought Hailey Bieber to this level? It's a story about marketing, timing, the universe balancing itself out, and most importantly, knowing how to preserve yourself long enough to play the long game. Hey everyone, welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Angela here with a special deep dive into Hailey Bieber. This deep dive will be like no other because unlike most of the internet, which is now clocking into the aesthetic world of Rhode, the Biebercella hype, and the positive press surrounding Hailey, your girls here at Scandalous Media can rewind the clock 12 years back to when Hailey first got into the picture and life wasn't that pretty. Before we get into this crazy whirlwind story and break down what might be one of the greatest celebrity rebrands of the modern internet era, be sure to like and subscribe for new videos every single week and turn those post notifications on so you don't miss our live chat premieres. Follow us on our social media where we're constantly spilling tea and recapping trendy Hollywood drama. And if you really want to pull the curtain back on celebrity culture, check out Scandalous.media, a blog that, fun fact, Hailey Bieber herself used to publicly follow back in the day. But that's a different story. To understand the story of Hailey, you have to know that there are key things that happened to her that aided into who she is now. Those key themes are her relationship with Justin Bieber, her feud with Selena Gomez, growing up around fame while constantly feeling like a side character within it, and eventually learning how to turn public perception into power. So let's get into it. Act 1. The Side Character Era. Long before Rhode, Biebercella, and becoming the blueprints for an entire generation of girls online, Hailey Bieber was basically treated like the internet's side character. The theme here? Nobody took her seriously. And for a very long time, people saw Hailey as Justin's fangirl who essentially scammed her way into his life and was out to get Selena Gomez. They reference her old tweets when she was like 13, talking about how Jelena was the ultimate relationship, and how she attended Justin's Never Say Never premiere in 2010, and how she was basically on the outside looking in. This is a story we tackled in our decade-long live video, debunking the lies surrounding the love triangle from hell that the internet is fascinated by. But here's the thing, Hailey was always on the inside because of her family connections and her extremely close ties to the Kardashians and the Hadids. So from the very beginning, she was already deeply well connected within Hollywood circles. The issue is, Hailey entered celebrity culture with low social value. But behind the scenes, she was the fun, outgoing girl who was really easy to get along with. She was friends with the popular it girls of the time, and she started getting close to the world's biggest pop star around this point. 2014 is when Justin and Hailey started hanging out a lot, and she is regarded as someone who was really there for him. By 2015, Justin, Hailey, and Kendall became a popular trio. Hailey was always the underdog because even though she and Justin were the couple here, the internet overlooked her, focusing on Justin and Kendall's relationship and assuming that they were in a relationship instead. The key thing here is that Hailey was very private about the depth of her relationship with Justin, and that came with pros and cons. Cons that ended up working in her favor. The pros here were that she got Justin's trust because at this point, he was being shaded every other day by his ex, and it was popular to hate on Justin rather than to come to his defense. People were also always using him for clout. But with Hailey, her relationship with Justin was building deeper and more securely behind the scenes. She wasn't constantly posting him for public validation. The con? The public didn't know that, and so she was clowned for being a girl that he'll never marry or take seriously. Everyone would always tell her that she's just another one of his side chicks. Here is where our blog comes into the picture. Around this time, Justin garners a reputation for being an F-boy. No one can lock him down, people believed he cheated on Selena and put her through hell, and he was always seen with a new chick. A Scandalous media source told me at the time, that is not totally true. Justin and Hailey are building something serious, he's joking around and calling her wifey, and they actually have something real going on. Since we were the only ones reporting this, it caught Hailey's attention and she followed us on Twitter. She was clearly reading the blog and was aware of what we wrote. Mind you, this is years before they got married and years before the wifey nickname became public. And one thing my source always said was that Hailey is extremely smart, do not underestimate her. But there were multiple factors here that influenced her image. Justin, who was going through his own things and wasn't ready to commit, called things off around 2016 after publicly telling GQ magazine that Hailey might be the girl he'll marry, and his reasoning at this point? The Purpose Tour. Shortly after they cooled things off, he's out in Hawaii with models and was photographed nude. Then he's seen hooking up with Sofia Richie all over Mexico. It was an embarrassing situation. And while it didn't reflect the truth about her relationship with Justin because it was a personal issue of his not being ready to commit to her, the internet was quick to remind Hailey, you are no Selena Gomez. You are the girl the paparazzi does not know and trampled over to get to Kylie Jenner.
Guys, come on, guys, you're gonna knock her over. Seriously.
What's wrong with you?
Sorry, Hailey.
You are cringy, you are not a famous model like your best friends, you don't have a good walk, and your father isn't that famous. Considering she wasn't a child star and didn't have anything of cultural importance for the general public to hold on to, Hailey suffered the fate of internet trolling without an army to back her up. So when Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez famously reunited at the end of 2017 following Selena's kidney transplant, people felt like everything was balanced again. He got back together with his teenage love in a moment of hardship in her life, so it was meant to be. Right? Not quite. Act 2. The Jelena grieving period. Justin going on tour after talking about marrying Hailey but not being able to commit at this point should make one thing clear. They had unfinished business. So when Justin and Selena got back together after years of Selena not being in the picture, despite the internet's belief that they were on and off for 10 years, the topic of Hailey Baldwin at the time landed them in couples therapy. The biggest theme here, the public rejected Justin and Hailey's relationship. It was not a good look that Hailey and Justin were engaged a few months after Justin and Selena seemed to have everything figured out and were photographed all cuddly at Justin's father's wedding. And naturally, everyone blamed Hailey and Justin. She married Justin during the public's peak emotional attachment to Jelena. Everyone wanted to protect Selena during this time. How could the love of her life leave her to someone who's just a fangirl and a stalker? Remember what I said earlier about the pro of Hailey building something secretly and one of substance behind the scenes with Justin? She won his trust, but it cost her the public validation. No one knew how serious their relationship was because it wasn't as publicized as his relationship with Selena, so no one had an aesthetic to attach to. You don't romanticize what you don't know. I'm not going to get into the details of why Jelena was not meant to be, why they were a toxic relationship and would have never worked out, because I'll leave that for a different series, the tragic love story of Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. But here is when the public loses Hailey completely because they are too busy grieving Jelena, and it doesn't make it easier that Justin finally starts to heal from his trauma and his past during this era, which everyone reflects his personal struggles as the fault of Hailey, even though the truth was she was the only factor that stuck around long enough to see him enter his healing journey. What didn't work here, aside from the timing, was Justin and Hailey trying to publicly sell their relationship too fast. To them, it's like, hey, this was a decade in the making, this wasn't some random girl, I am much happier now. But to the public who didn't have that context, they were like, he replaced Selena in 2 months. So when Justin and Hailey wanted to show off their love and tell their side of the story in the midst of Selena's heartbroken tour, it didn't work. No one wanted to watch their reality TV show on Facebook or their weekly lives during the pandemic. People had a story they wanted to believe, and Justin and Hailey being in a happy marriage wasn't one that they tuned into. At this point, the general public is still romanticizing Selena, and Hailey, constantly over-explaining herself, did more harm than good. She wanted to be seen for her truth. I had history with this man that you guys don't know about, he is finally happy. But constantly trying to convince the public to listen to your side or leave you alone.
Leave me alone at this point. I'm minding my business. I don't do anything. I don't say anything. Leave me alone.
Only egged them on. So when Hailey went on Call Her Daddy and said the story we've been reporting on Scandalous media for years, there's history here and Justin and Selena weren't even exclusively together during the 6-month reunion from September 2017 to March 2018, no one wanted to hear it. Add on the fact that Hailey didn't have anything the public wanted besides a damaged Justin Bieber, and she was seen as someone of no value. And because Justin had a bad rep with people believing Selena's side of the story over his, anytime he tried to defend Hailey just led to more hate for the both of them. So he quickly shut down the idea of even trying to negotiate with the general public in the slightest, as he was going through his own battles. So the rebrand here was, try to make Hailey connect with the general public. This takes place around 2021, a year before the launch of Rhode. The game plan was to showcase Hailey as a person, her personality, her interests, and her influences. So in March 2021, Hailey officially launches her YouTube channel. This showed an inside look into her skincare routine, travel, and a few vlogs. But her main segment was, Who's in my bathroom? High-profile celebrity friends and guests were featured, and that alone attracted many people. The general public wasn't fond of Hailey at this point, but they were starting to soften up as more of her personality started to come through. In June 2021, my source told me, the crazy thing is, they want Hailey and Selena to become friends. I was shocked knowing how tense their history is and wondering how that would ever work. Nonetheless, she was right. October 2022 comes around, and Hailey and Selena pose together at the second annual Academy Museum Gala. Everyone is confused and Hailey is blamed, with people believing that she ambushed Selena at the event to get these photos. To try to lessen the tension between Selena and Hailey, especially with both of them competing in the beauty space with Rhode and Rare Beauty, since Selena basically ditched music, this was seen as a business move with the end goal of making money. Earlier in the year, June 2022 to be exact, Rhode dropped its first curated selection of skincare. People were obviously suspicious of Hailey, something she also mentions, saying that she understood that people were wary of yet another celebrity skincare brand, but wanted to prove herself by debuting a product that would be a staple. Either way, the photos backfire massively, as just a couple of months later, the biggest Hailey hate train starts in March 2023. This is where brands publicly bash her, the internet accuses her of being a stalker, and it all begins with the assumption that Hailey was shading Selena in a TikTok video where Hailey, Kendall Jenner, and Justine Skye made a video to this voiceover.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
The assumption here was that Hailey and her friends were mocking Selena because the internet had already spent weeks criticizing Selena's appearance and discussing her weight gain after paparazzi photos of her in Cabo surfaced in January 2023. So Hailey replies back to the TikTok saying that's not what's happening at all, it was a random TikTok sound, but everything escalates when Selena validates the accusation that Hailey is shading her by saying that it's okay, she doesn't let these things, aka the shading, get her down, be nice to everyone. She then proceeds to go on a very long spree of commenting and interacting with anti-Hailey TikToks that egged on the public to keep digging into Hailey and painting her as the bad guy. Kylie is catching a stray, Bella Hadid is catching a stray, anyone who Hailey has associated with is getting hate so Selena Gomez can feel better about herself, and this leads Selena to announce a mental health break that lasts a few minutes.
And yeah, I'm gonna be taking a second from social media because this is a little silly.
It seemed like everyone was projecting onto Hailey, including Selena, who later admits that comments about her weight make her feel a tad bitter. The internet is calling for Justin to divorce Hailey to get back together with Selena, and at this point, Hailey realizes, I'm probably not going to win. Act 3. The Pivot. This is the part where Hailey lets herself become the villain in order for things to play out. An important thing she did here was that she understood that her life was too privileged for victimhood branding to land. No matter how much hate she was receiving online, the public was never going to fully sympathize with the rich model who married Justin Bieber in the middle of the internet still grieving Jelena. The theme here? Hailey stopped trying to win people over emotionally. It was clear that the internet and the public's obsession with Jelena was going to triumph over whatever Hailey's side was. And so Hailey dealt with it behind the scenes in private with her husband, best friends, and in therapy. She told Vogue in 2025, I've learned so much from Justin, really. He's been doing this literally since he was a child, and he has had to face the most scrutiny of any person that I know. He was like, baby, trust me, I've been here before many times. You're not going to win. There is no winning. While the internet was busy turning her into the villain of a never-ending stan war, Justin and Hailey were quietly going through a lot behind the scenes. Whether it was struggles within their relationship, Justin's very obvious unresolved trauma from growing up in the industry, or the serious health scares that they both experienced almost back to back, it was never ending. In 2022, Justin revealed that he was suffering from Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, a condition that caused partial facial paralysis and forced him to cancel parts of his tour, while the internet heavily speculated about his health and well-being. Around that same period, Hailey was rushed to the hospital after experiencing stroke-like symptoms caused by a blood clot in her brain, something she later described as one of the scariest moments of her life. What most people didn't know during that hate train era in March 2023 was that Justin and Hailey were trying to have a baby. The only people who knew this, aside from them, were us here at Scandalous Media and our readers because I posted big news in Jellyland and I spilled that info. Now this is very important to understand because most of Hailey and Justin's issues in their relationship came from the fact that Justin wanted kids right away and Hailey wasn't ready. So it had been 5 years of marriage until they finally got on the same page. May 2024, Hailey revealed that she was 6 months pregnant and that she and Justin renewed their vows. This means that Hailey got pregnant sometime in late November 2023 or early December 2023. This means that while the internet was busy dissecting how Justin hates his wife and how he will leave her to go back to Selena, they were trying to get pregnant and build their family. Without begging people to see her side of the story, she quietly showed people that they were wrong. You thought he was going to divorce me for his toxic teen love, when in reality, I'm pregnant. And it's this privacy and scarcity of Jelly information that woke the internet up from its delusion that they thought they knew what was really going on. During this era, Hailey is focused on building Rhode and her aesthetic. She no longer gives any energy to prove the truth about her relationship with Justin, and we can see that she pours her public identity into herself. Justin has no desire to participate in the industry or its events, so he's either supporting Hailey privately or seen getting lunch with her. But professionally, her Instagram is focused on her and her brand only. Keep in mind that all of this was happening simultaneously during the years Hailey was still being relentlessly hated online, because by March 2025, that viral 7-part TikTok documentary portraying Hailey as a stalker obsessively copying Selena Gomez had completely taken over the internet. And on top of that, there would constantly be random moments where manipulated screenshots, edited clips, or completely photoshopped images would go viral so aggressively that Hailey occasionally had to threaten legal action just to stop certain narratives from spiraling even further. So no, this transformation was definitely not smooth or perfect behind the scenes. But what ultimately ended up working in Hailey's favor was the fact that, despite all of this chaos constantly surrounding her, she still kept building something outside of the discourse. At some point, Hailey stopped trying to be relatable and started trying to be desirable. This is where everything starts to shift. Act 4. Becoming the blueprints. As Hailey started to give no substance to the tired old Jelena story that she couldn't win, she started building the world of Rhode that the general public was magnetically attracted to.
My mantra was that I was gonna get hotter after having a baby, so.
I think you're way hotter.
Thank you. And I just keep saying it. I'm like, hotter and happier and hotter.
The theme here? The copy became the copied. It was the birth of an it girl. The important thing here is that the shift became legitimized through actual business success, consumer behavior, and a cultural influence. Rhode launched in 2022 with only 3 products and reportedly made $10 million in sales within 11 days. The brand became known for creating massive wait lists, with some Rhode launches reportedly reaching over 200,000 to 400,000 people waiting for products like the lip treatments and phone cases. Rhode generated an estimated $248 million in earned media value in 2024, which was a 366% increase year over year. Industry reports described Rhode's Sephora launch as record-breaking, with the brand quickly becoming one of Sephora's top-selling skincare brands. Rhode succeeded because it didn't feel like a desperate celebrity cash grab. It felt like an extension of Hailey herself, and that's the genius of it. The products, visuals, Instagram, interviews, outfits, nails, smoothies, phone case, skin routines, muted personality, clean girl aesthetic, all of it felt like one universe. Hailey basically turned herself into a lifestyle mood board, and anything she did, a trend followed. Eating sushi with a face mask on? Boom, a trend. Applying a face mask with a comb just for a promotional picture? Trend. Hailey posting her nails? Boom, glazed donut nails trend. Everyone is now asking for the Hailey Bieber nails. Hailey cut her hair into a bob? Another trend. The Hailey Bieber smoothie at Erewhon? Massive trend to the point where it became a staple and had to rebrand to the strawberry glazed skin smoothie after their contract with Hailey expired in late 2025.
And changes in the world I can deal with, but no more Hailey Bieber smoothie.
The Big B bubble jewelry, it originally started with Hailey and is now a massive trend. Hailey's street style, mainly the capris with kitten heels, started becoming a trend. If Hailey posted a random makeup look and captioned it "everyday strawberry makeup," suddenly this became a trend, with everyone coining it the Hailey Bieber strawberry makeup. The way she applied her skincare went viral. Suddenly everyone wanted to have glazed donut skin like her. Hailey is credited with the clean girl makeup look, and if she simply showed off her dark brown lip liner with a clear gloss lip combo, bam, it was coined the brownie glazed lips trend. Latte makeup became a trend, the Rhode silicone lip case was not only innovative, but became a huge trend, and then many brands followed in her footsteps to turn skincare into a fashion accessory. Just this month, Hailey was announced as a new brand ambassador for Mango, and this came after the coat she was photographed wearing last year kept going viral. She became the real-life Regina George. After the internet accused her of being a mean girl, she went about life just doing her, and everything she did became a trend.
Oh my god, a video of Hailey Bieber talking about matcha. What does she have to say?
The latte is overrated, underrated.
I think it's a little over.
Oh, shoot! So apparently matcha's officially out, so get ready with me to go get an iced coffee!
The irony is that the girl once accused of copying another woman became the woman everyone copies. But that wasn't all. A huge part of it was also Hailey's humor and surprisingly lighthearted way she sometimes chose to troll the internet back. In 2023, the public spent months painting Hailey Bieber as the ultimate mean girl because people had fully bought into the narrative that she was secretly bullying Selena Gomez behind the scenes. So what did Hailey dress up as for Halloween that same year? The iconic Mean Girls movie. After industry abusers started getting exposed and people took another look at Justin's experience in the industry and what happened to him, people started sympathizing with him, mainly after his Coachella performance. Suddenly, it became a trend to apologize to Hailey for what she endured the past few years.
As a former Hailey Bieber hater, I cannot be a part of that group anymore.
I think now that the internet has seen how PR teams handle smear hate campaigns, that the internet owes Hailey Bieber an apology.
I think a ton of us owe Hailey Bieber an apology, myself included.
Her response? All good on apologies, the therapy's already paid for, save it. So instead of playing into this victimhood mentality, which we've seen before, she pokes fun at the hate and even posts this during the Apologize to Hailey Bieber tour.
No, you don't get to ask me questions.
Why not?
Because you just don't.
Why?
Because I'm not your we're not buddies.
Act 5, The Long Game. The theme of this era, why Hailey ultimately won culturally. Instead of chasing fleeting validation from the general public, Hailey quietly redirected that energy into herself, her marriage, and eventually her business, and the result was stability. She had the patience to let people think whatever they wanted while she worked on things privately behind the scenes. She became disciplined enough not to react constantly, showing emotional restraint in a culture that rewards public meltdowns and oversharing. And because of that, she was able to survive years of public humiliation and, most importantly, build an identity outside of Justin. The Bieber last name absolutely helped launch Hailey into another level of visibility and cultural relevance, but what made this a success story was how she utilized that visibility afterward. Because when Justin and Hailey first got married and revealed they didn't sign a prenup, the internet immediately claimed she was using him for money and that Justin would be screwed in the event of a divorce. But years later, after Rhode sold to Elf Beauty in a deal valued at up to $1 billion, Hailey ironically became richer than Justin himself. This doesn't mean Hailey was flawless throughout any of this. There were awkward interviews, moments where she overcompensated, times she clearly tried too hard, cringy teenage behavior, and failed attempts at controlling public perception. But the fact that she was able to evolve beyond all of that and become something significantly bigger than what people originally reduced her to is exactly why the transformation worked. Because without the cringe era, there is no payoff. But why did the public finally soften? The internet eventually got tired, not just of hating Hailey, but of the endless stan war itself. And because Hailey stopped feeding it emotionally, she outlasted it. That's the long game. The Selena and Hailey discourse used to feel emotionally urgent online, but years later, people grew up, the narratives got repetitive, and suddenly, Hailey's calmer, more aesthetic, less reactive image started aging better in internet culture. And maybe the biggest reason why Hailey ultimately won the long game is because she stopped trying to win the internet at all. While everyone else kept emotionally replaying the same stan wars, TikToks, conspiracy theories, and relationship discourse for years, Hailey quietly built an aesthetic, a business, a family, and an entire cultural identity that people eventually wanted to buy into themselves. The Hailey we see today was slowly built through years of embarrassment, scrutiny, mistakes, internet hate, reinvention, and ultimately evolution. And whether people want to admit it or not, that is one of the most successful celebrity rebrands of the modern social media era. Well guys, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below, and if you want us to do more pop culture deep dives, be sure to like and subscribe for new videos every single week. Put those post notifications on so you don't miss the live chat premiere we do for every single video. Follow us on our social media, and as always, I'll see you next time.